Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Today we're going to talk about oil painting for a change, and we are especially going to talk about drying time, how you can speed things up and how you can slow things down, and why you would even want to do that. Let's talk about it. So let's take one thing out of the picture already, is that it's not technically drying when it comes to oil painting. It's not drying. So let's talk about the molecules of oil. You have long molecules like this one, and when they are in a liquid they can move freely, and due to the action of the oxygen they are going to form bonds, chemical bonds. And once they form bonds, all the molecules can form bonds, which creates a very strong surface that cannot be made wet again. So oil paint, once it's dry, it's dry. But the other thing is that because it is due to a chemical reaction, it takes time. It takes more time, it dries slowly. Doesn't dry, but it dries slowly. This polymerization reaction takes a long time, and this is one of the best features of oil painting. This is actually one of the strongest points of oil, and technically, if really drying time is an issue with you, and if you think that it's always way too slow, maybe oil paint is not the best medium for you, and maybe you need to switch to acrylics or gouache or anything water-based, because oil is always going to take some time to dry, and it's slow. It's a good thing because it gives you all the time in the world to make your painting. You have all the time in your day, you can do your painting, make your corrections, you can even get a cup of coffee, you can come back, and well, you don't have to rush. The paint doesn't dry on your brush, it doesn't dry on your palette, and yeah, it just gives you enough time so you can just take your entire day and paint. Some people actually really enjoy that slow drying time, and some people want to slow things down even more. An artist like Mark Carter, which is on YouTube as well, with the channel Draw Mix Paint, I suggest you check him out if you don't already know him. He's really into slow drying mediums, so you should check his channel, check his mediums on his website. Really awesome artist, and great material there. Let's take one thing out of the picture. Not all pigments dry at the same rate. Some pigments dry really fast, like these ones, for instance. Some pigments are right in the middle, like they dry within, like, let's say 4 or 5 days. And some pigments dry very slowly, so they would basically take more than 5 days. So depending on the pigments you use, you might want to reconsider how fast you want things to happen, because basically if you're mainly using burnt umber in your painting, you absolutely don't need any fast drying medium, because the burnt umber is already a fast drying agent. It's going to make things dry super fast, and everything you mix with burnt umber, let's say, is going to dry fast, very fast. Issues can come if some pigments dry really fast and some others take a long time, because you can have, like, well, it's not really issues, it's just annoying, because some parts of your painting are already dry and ready to be painted over, but some parts are still wet, and this can create some annoying things in your working process, which is why you can use something like a dryer. This is a metallic dryer, so the goal of this product is to speed up the chemical reaction happening that creates the drying, the sictivity of the oil paint. So this is a cool tray dryer, for instance. And the good thing about this is you can add some of it to the slow drying pigments and none to the fast drying pigments. So now I would suggest that you use seccative only to even out the drying rates among your various pigments, because they can create some issues in the drying rates. They can create crackings. They can create all sorts of nasty things if you don't control. So really make sure that you respect the proportions indicated and don't use too much of it. This is not made for to really speed up the entire painting. If you want to speed up your painting, like let's say you're in a hurry or you like to have your paint ready for the next day and you don't want to wait for several days, you can use a ready-made medium with a fast drying agent. Like this could be a thing. They have additives, like basically they just add secatives in their mediums, and this is a more balanced product. There's less risk in using this, and you can use one of these, and it will even out and make sure that the entire painting dries much faster. If you also really want to speed things up, like 50% more, 50% faster, I suggest you use an alkyd. Well, that's the best and the safest option in my opinion if you're like in a hurry, you need some fast drying. To me, an alkyd like a liquid galkyd, this is Sennelier's Flow and Dry, and this is a liquid impasto. These products really speed things up and very safely. So yeah, that could be a great option. Let's talk about solvents. Technically, they do not speed things up really, because solvents evaporate. And this is not the same thing. Solvents do not contribute in the drying of oil paint. They just make the paint fluid, and after a couple of minutes, hours, they evaporate from the paint layer. So they don't stay in the layer. They don't contribute to the drying rates. But because they spread the paint, they make the drying time, generally the drying time of the layer, faster. They speed things up in a way, but they do not contribute in the chemical reaction. See, they speed things up all over the surface, but not really in the paint. Now, what if you want to make things slow? If you want to make things slow, you need to use oil. If you add oil, it's going to take things and make things a lot slower. So the fastest drying oil is linseed oil. It's famous for being the fastest drying linseed oil, but still, using pure linseed oil is going to slow things down, even though it's the fastest drying oil. Now, a little bit slower drying than linseed oil, a lot slower drying, is safflower. Safflower is a slow drying oil, so it will dry very slowly. It will give you more time to paint wet on wet. So this could be. And even slower is poppy seed oil. Poppy seed is a very slow drying oil. It's going to give you wet paint for a couple of days. Be careful if you add pure oil to your paint. Don't add too much, because it can really get out of control. So be careful. Make sure that the proportion of oil to pigments is still usable. You don't want to make something ultra fluid and extra fat, because this is pure fat. It's going to make things very slow, and it's going to it can cause issues if you add too much of it, if you add disproportionate amounts of it. Alright, that's it for this video. So I hope it cleared out some technical points on drying time. Personally, I really like the very basic drying rate of oil. I like using very simple mediums with no additives like no fast drying additives, and I like the natural drying rate, especially if I use earth pigments, because I use a lot of them. They dry quite fast, so I'm okay with it. I really enjoy giving it some time, and if I can't paint again on a painting, I just do something else, do a drawing or take another painting. Let me know, what do you prefer? Do you prefer slow drying or fast drying? Alright, if you like this video, don't hesitate to subscribe, and as always, just hit the like button and don't forget that little bell thing so that you can get all the notifications from this channel. I see you for the next video, and as always guys, have fun painting. Bye.